to my rules review of the Terrax pattern Termite. It's a transport option that Forge World have just released some Warhammer 40,000 8th edition rules for. It's on the Forge World's website. They've also released rules for the Peltasts and the Hoplites, which I will be doing separate reviews on. I think the reviews for those will be next week because I want to record them on the camera rather than have them as a screen recording like this Termite. And also I have the models, so we'll have a little look at the models as well. I think I purchased them a couple of years ago or so, but because I don't have the Termite, I thought I'd do one of these screen recording videos. So let's have a look at the Termite. It's just here, £75. It's been out a couple of months now, but before you only had Solar Auxilia rules, Imperialis Militia, Legions, Astartes and Mechanicum. So basically Horus Heresy rules. And I think I said at the time that they released it, because I did do a first look kind of video on it, why on earth didn't they release some 8th edition 40k rules, especially with the new release of the Mechanicum Codex. I think that came out a couple of months before. But anyway, they have released the 40k rules, but let's just have a look at the model itself. So compared to a normal, but it's not a huge model, but it's a nice chunky size. You can equip it with quite a few options there. Ideal for your Scutari now and your Mechanicum Force, your Adeptus Mechanicus. So let's have a look at these 40k rules then. So one of these will count as a transport option. It's a power points cost of an 8, and then right at the bottom here it tells you how many points it is in match play. So it's 130 points, and then you've got to buy either the heavy flamer or Stormbolt or twin Volkite chargers, things like that. But it's nice that you can use the twin Volkite chargers in the 8th edition rules. So here we go then. The stat line, it is one of these units whereby its remaining wounds affects its other characteristics. So it normally has 10 wounds, as you can see, and when it's got between 6 and 10 wounds, it moves 8 inches with a ballistic skill of 3+, and it has 6 attacks. When it's only got between 3 and 5, its movement speed is only 6 inches, ballistic skill drops to 4+, and attacks is d6. And when it's only got between 1 and 2 wounds, its movement drops all the way down to 4 inches, ballistic skill 5+, and attacks only d3. So its weapon skill remains the same throughout all of this, which is bizarre, but it's always 50-50 chance. It's a 4+ weapon skill. Its strength is 7 and its toughness is 8, so that's a decent toughness, same toughness as an Imperial Knight, and it has 10 wounds, again quite decent. Leadership is 8 and its normal save is 3+, which is amazing. It's a single model equipped with 2 Stormbolters, a Melter Cutter and a Termite Drill. So right here you're going to have to add 4 points to that, 0 for the Termite Drill and 0 for the Melter Cutter. So you're looking at 134 points for its base kind of loadout. The war gear options here, it can replace both its Stormbolters with either 2 Heavy Flamers or 2 twin Volkite Chargers. So the twin Volkite Chargers 8 points each, so that's 16, so you're looking at 146. 2 Heavy Flamers, you're actually looking at another 34 points, so it bumps it up to 164 points, which is going to be quite expensive, almost at that 200 point mark there. But anyway, you can choose to do that. The weapons themselves then, the Heavy Flamers, the Stormbolters are quite straightforward. Heavy Flame has a 8-inch range and a heavy d6, and it automatically hits. It's a strength 5 weapon with an AP -1 and a damage of 1. The Stormbolters are, the 24-inch range rapid fire 2-shot weapons rather than the Assault 2 they used to be. Strength 4 and damage 1. And the twin Volkite Chargers, which is a weapon that you might not be familiar with within 40k, but they are a 15-inch range weapon, heavy 4, strength 5, AP 0 and a damage of 2. So 15 inch is not too bad, and you are getting damage 2 with them. And you can have, obviously you can equip it with 2 of these, so you're getting 8 shots there of strength 5 damage 2. Not too bad at all. The other two weapons that it comes with that are quite unique to it is this Melter Cutter, which is a range 12-inch, Assault D3, Strength 8, AP -4, Damage D6 weapon, and if the target is within half range, you roll 2 dice and you discard the lowest result. But it's nice that you get, possibly 3 shots with this, although it is a short range weapon. And then finally, the Termite drill is a melee weapon only, and it doubles the strength by 2, so you're looking at strength 14, which is still pretty good. AP is a whopping -4, which is brilliant, and a damage of 3. So not damage D6 like the Melter Cutter, but it is damage to 3. And furthermore, it's got another ability. After the bearer has made all of its attacks, you roll a D6 for each model that suffered damage from the Termite drill, but has not been destroyed, and on a 2+, the model being rolled for suffers a mortal wound, and if that model is not destroyed, you can roll another D6. This time the model suffers a mortal wound on a 3+. You keep rolling a D6, increasing the result required to cause a mortal wound by 1 each time until the model being rolled for is destroyed or the roll is failed. Now that could be horrific. You get this thing into close combat, and that drill, for a multi-wound knight or a character or a vehicle, you got that 2+ getting the mortal wound, and then you just roll another D6 and another until that roll is failed. I mean, obviously when you get to 4+ or 5+, then that roll might be failed, but that's horrific, I think. Especially with it going in full strength with its 6 attacks there. Against a multi-wound model. Pretty awesome. So, its abilities then. Subterranean Assault. During deployment, you can set this model up along with any of its units embarked within it, underground instead of placing it on the battlefield. At the end of any of your movement phases, this model can perform a Subterranean Assault, whereby you can set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. Any units embarked inside can then immediately disembark, but they must be set up more than 9 inches from any enemy models. Any models that cannot be set up because there is not enough room are slain. So bear that in mind, when you're coming up from Subterranean Assault, has to be more than 9 inches away, and there has to be room to deploy them. You don't want to put high value target in this and then just be slain because there isn't enough room because of poor planning. The other ability is it explodes. Nothing really new. When the model's reduced to 0 wounds, you roll a d6, and before any embarked models disembark. And on a 6, it explodes. Each unit within 6 inches suffers d3 mortal wounds. Not too bad. It's not gonna, there's no point throwing it at your enemy and watching all those mortal wounds peel off, different characters and things. Then there's a little bit of a designer's note which says that it can be taken in 3 different factions: Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines and Adeptus Mechanicus, and its transport rules and keywords change depending on which of the 3 you choose. Note that if it is from the Space Marines faction, you cannot choose it to be from the Legion of the Damned or Grey Knights chapters, but it can be from any other chapter including Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves and Death Watch. So you can have Death Watch in these things. Also note that if it is from the Adeptus Mechanicus faction, the model does not have the Canticles of the Omnissiah ability, but including it in a detachment does not prevent other models with this ability from using it. So you just don't count that model, basically. So here are your 3 options. You can use it for Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines or Adeptus Mechanicus. So if you use it for Space Marines, you can transport 12 chapter infantry models, but you can't transport any jump pack Terminator, Centurion, Wolfen or, wait for it, Primaris models, of course. The keywords are Imperium, Adeptus Astartes, Vehicle, Transport, Termite, Assault Drill. Likewise with the Chaos Space Marines, exactly the same thing here. It can transport 12, and with Adeptus Mechanicus, again, it can transport 12. However, you can't transport Belisarius, Cataphon Breachers or Cataphon Destroyers. So it's a great little model now, and the fact that you can use it in 40k, and finally Adeptus Mechanicus now get kind of troop transport if you want to put a load of Scutari Vanguard in there. I don't know why you'd put your Rangers in there, but you can put your Scutari in there, probably your Infiltrators maybe, probably your Electro Priests, something like that. You can put in. And Space Marines, yeah, it's nice to have a a vehicle that can just pop up, and you know, especially for say Death Watch as well, if you have different kind of Space Marines in there, but obviously no Terminator armor and no Primaris, but it's nice to have transport option that doesn't involve a drop pod or a Rhino, and something that can, you know, shoot and attack in close combat as well after everything's said and done. Anyway, I thought I'd do a little rules review of the Terrax pattern Termite assault drill. Great little unit, happy to have the 40k rules for it. Very tempted to pick up one myself now that they've got the rules. No doubt we'll be getting the rules in a book at some point in the future. Anyway, what do you guys think of the Termite? Are you looking forward to the bigger Termite called the Mole, I think it is, that Forge will be releasing sometime this year, probably towards the end of the year? And please do, as always, put all your comments and things down below. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.